On a working homestead, every animal earns its keep, and for storytellers, each one adds texture, conflict, and lived-in realism to a rural story. In this episode, I'll break down the top 10 creatures most often found around a homestead and the roles they quietly or not so quietly play. Chickens scratching out pest control and breakfast, goats acting as escape artists and brush clearers, turkey guards, ducks and their ability to survive a natural disaster, barn cats running covert rodent patrols, geese serving as feathered alarm systems, dogs guarding the perimeter, sheep offering wool and personality, cows anchoring the food supply, and pigs turning scraps into power. Plus, we'll explore one bonus animal that is a surprisingly good companion. If you want your fictional homestead to feel authentic, these animals should be in your world building toolkit. Learn about all of this and more in today's episode. Welcome to Writing Rural with Allie, your inspiration station for vivid rural world building, with practical tips on settings, tools, animals, plants, and even the characters who live in those worlds, from historical to post-apocalyptic, helping bring your stories to life. This is episode number 121, 10 Most Common Homestead Animals for Writers. Every word was written by Allie, and this episode is currently voiced by AI. Stick around to the end to find out all the ways things could possibly go wrong in your story. Now, let's get into this. One quick disclaimer, I am in no way, shape, form, or fashion a medical anything. This is not medical advice, life advice, or anything of that nature. This is for fiction writing and nothing else. Now, let's get into this. For anyone wondering what a homestead is, let me explain before we dig in. A homestead historically was a piece of land people built a home and raised their family on. They are far from the closest town. Today, this is land that is bought and most of the time built on, but sometimes there was already a home there. They normally have a garden and animals. People like this want to live as close to living off the land as one can in today's world. With that in mind, here are the top 10 animals. Number 1, chickens. You had to see this one coming. Chickens are the number one thing found on homesteads, and normally in high numbers. They are yummy to eat and produce eggs. I have a full episode on eggs if you want to check out the plethora of ways eggs and eggshells can be used. That is not the only reason people get chickens. You see, they are amazing at eating all the ticks. Yes, those pesky things that carry disease and love to drink blood. We let our chickens into the yard as often as possible, and we don't worry about ticks. Furthermore, feathers were used throughout history. The longer feathers were used as quill pens, and the tiny feathers off the chest were used for pillows, quilts, and other insulation when duck down and goose down were not available. Down is the fancy way of saying small, soft chest feathers. Number 2, goats. Goats are known for eating everything, and they are great at clearing land. This can be to make it easier to get to different areas of the property, to control the underbrush to help with fire control, or prepare land before making it into a new garden. Let your imagination run wild with this, because this is a good place for it. Goats were historically used for milk for newborn babies, while cow's milk is not safe for newborns. If the mother died or simply couldn't produce enough milk, goats were the solution. They do not produce as much milk as cows in most cases, but it's more than enough for a baby. Let's not forget they can also be used for family milk, milk for goats to be sold, or even as a meat source. Plus, milk can be turned into butter and cheese. Number 3, turkey. Ah yes, the favorite American Thanksgiving yum-yum bird. Delicious and nutritious, they do not taste like chicken. Other reasons to have turkeys include the fact that they are great deterrents to birds of prey, such as chicken hawks when they are placed with chickens. Their size is a deterrent. With amazing eyesight, they can sound the alarm early, giving the chickens time to run to safety. Some, though not all, will protect the other birds with them. As for eggs, they lay about 100 eggs per year. They are about 50% bigger than chicken eggs. Other uses are that turkey feathers are often used for arrow fletching. Their bones are used to make animal calls and even needles. Number 4, duck. Ducks are very common in places prone to flooding. The reason is that while you will need to save chickens, goats, and other animals from floodwaters, ducks can actually handle this themselves. Not that people do not try to save them by taking them to high ground, but with floods, they can rise super quickly, and there might not be time. The animal's ability to survive on their own is a huge deal. Furthermore, duck meat is yummy. If you don't believe me, just go visit your closest fancy restaurant and they likely serve it. Ducks also tend to lay more eggs than chickens. Plus, they are also bigger eggs. Duck eggs are roughly 1.5 chicken eggs. I say roughly because some eggs are bigger and smaller depending on the breed of both chickens and ducks. Number 5, geese. Geese are the second option for areas prone to flooding. They too are likely to survive a flood, although that's probably not a surprise to anyone. As for eggs, goose eggs are approximately 3 times longer than chicken eggs. However, they only lay 30 to 50 eggs per year. That's 2 to 4 eggs per month. Geese are also amazing alarm systems. Both the Chinese and Romans have historically used them as a form of guards. They will both make a lot of noise at things that are out of place, and they attack. In case you don't know, geese have spiky teeth. Okay, spikes of cartilage, but as someone who has been bitten by them, I'm calling them teeth. Teeth that hurt and draw blood. Number 6, cat. Cats are normally barn cats in rural areas. Of course they can be pets. However, barn cats are mildly feral. They can be friendly or they might tolerate your character. What is certain is that if the character disappeared, leaving them on their own, they would be perfectly fine. They don't need the human. So why are cats there? Rodent control. The reason this is important is that mice and rats will get into the feed, eating it and pooping in it. This contaminates the feed. Mice and rats not only carry diseases humans can get, but animals too. To top that off, snakes will follow mice. I know from experience, as we had a horrible outbreak of mice in our home when my oldest was little, and the snakes followed them inside. My toddler almost stepped on a copperhead snake. Talk about giving this mama a heart attack. On top of that, mice and rats will eat the wood the barn is made of, along with insulation and even chew on saddles and leather harnesses, among other things. Now we let the barn cats roam around our home for this reason, and most farms do. I even have shelter up close to the house in case they need or want it. Okay, if you are an animal lover, cover your ears for a moment. Historically, cat intestines were used as wound sutures or stitches. How or why someone in history thought, hey, let's use cat guts on your bleeding wound, I will never know. Number 7, dog. Dogs are next on the list. Yes, they too make nice companions and protectors. Of course, it depends on the breed. A teacup Chihuahua is not threatening. A Rottweiler, on the other hand, isn't something most people would want to take on. Something about teeth and not wanting to be a chew toy. But don't count the tiny ones out. They make great alarms. Dogs can also be working dogs. Herding, hunting, guarding herds, police and military dogs, and so much more. I have a full episode on all the ways you can incorporate dogs into your stories if you would like to learn more. Number 6, sheep. I bet you know what sheep are used for. If you said war sheep, you are playing too many games on your phone. If you said wool, you are right. Now, I have several episodes on wool, so I'm only going to give you the cliff notes, and you can get more details on the other episodes. First and most common is clothing. Wool will keep your characters warm. Not only that, but it will trap your character's body heat, helping to keep them warm even when the wool is wet. Other things include making rugs, yarn, tapestry, horse blankets, carpets, upholstery, insulation, felting, boot liners, blankets, pillows, toys, mattress topper, fire blankets, animal bedding, and more. It can be used in the garden for frost protection, mulching, and as a way to retain water in the garden.
Number 9, cows. Cows are yummy. I mean, they are good for food. After all, who doesn't like a burger? Milk is next on the list. Modern cows make so much more milk than cows in history. What do I mean? Through selective breeding and greater access to more breeds, along with the ability to connect with more people within the cattle world, cows have been bred to produce more milk. According to my research, in 1960, the average cow produced 755 gallons annually, while in 2026, the time I am writing this, the average produced annually is 2,326 gallons. That's literally 3 times more milk, with the average cow producing 6 to 7 gallons of milk per day. Something to think about, depending on what era you were writing in. It's not just for drinking. Characters can make cheese and butter from milk, both of which will help to reduce waste in historical and post-apocalyptic stories. All of these can be sold for profit. Another thing to think about is that cows have been, and sometimes still are, used for transportation. They have also been used for plowing fields, pulling wagons, and hauling goods. Cows can have sweet temperaments and are more sure-footed in mud than horses are. Number 10, pigs. Pigs are last on the list. I have a full episode on them, so again, we will just cover the highlights, and you can check out the episode if you want to learn more. First, they taste amazing. I know everyone says bacon, and while I like bacon, I love pork chops. There are a ton of other types of meat that can be made from them. In no real order, they also are used or have been used for habitat and environmental uses, landscape uses, pond sealing, medicine, trading and bartering, and a whole lot more. Oh, and close your ears, animal lovers. They too have had their intestines used as wound sutures or stitches. Plus, pigs are quite often used as garbage disposals. They eat table scraps and the leftover feed the other animals will not touch. Bonus, horses. Horses were a form of transportation for thousands and thousands of years. people riding them, pulling wagons and carriages, goods, and more. Not only that, but they were used for plowing fields. Horses are also very intelligent and were often a type of companion throughout history, and even today. Before we get to the best part, if you don't know, I am now on Substack. If you don't know about Substack, it's a social media site that, unlike other ones, is refreshing and encouraging. There is a wide writers community who are kind and super supportive. I hope you'll join me and all the other amazing writers on Substack. This is not a sponsorship, but a way to connect directly with me. Now for everyone's favorite part. What could possibly go wrong in your story? Likely to go wrong. A stranger tries to pet your character's barn cat and gets clawed. Also likely to go wrong. Your character is attacked by a goose. Possible to go wrong. Your character's ducks fly off to the pond and refuse to come back to the house. Ducks are water animals and will seek out any water they can find. Also possible to go wrong. Your character is kicked in the head by a cow and it causes a traumatic brain injury. Unlikely to go wrong. Your character makes their turkey mad by removing the food they were trying to eat to move it to a different place. The turkey spurs them. Turkey spurs can grow up to 2 inches long. Also unlikely to go wrong. Your character gets one sheep, not realizing sheep are herd animals. They die of loneliness. Both sheep and goats are herd animals and need other animals of their kind. Improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities. Your character encounters a wild pig and it attacks your character, goring them. The wound becomes infected. If they don't get medical attention, this could be deadly. Also improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities. Your character's goat escapes and climbs to the top of a cliffside. When they find the goat and try to catch it, the goat headbutts them and they topple off the cliff. This could be deadly. Thanks for listening. Until next time, happy wordsmithing.